Picture this. You're 53, a hard-working dad, and one day, your body betrays you. That's what happened to James Carter, a man from a small Georgia town. But James didn't give up hand. What he discovered about Social Security benefits changed his family's life. Stay with me to hear his story and learn how you might qualify for help sooner than you think. James Carter was the kind of guy who never missed a day of work. At 53, he was a mechanic at a local auto shop in Macon, Georgia, with hands calloused from years of turning wrenches. His wife, Clara, 50, worked part-time at a daycare, and their 2 kids, Leela. But it was filled with love, laughter, and the smell of Clara's peach cobbler. James was proud to provide, always saying, "As long as I've got my tools, we'll be fine." But one morning, everything changed. James woke up with a sharp pain in his back, so bad he could barely stand. At first, he brushed it off maybe. He'd lifted something wrong at the shop. But weeks turned into months, and the pain got worse. Suddenly, the man who'd always been the rock of his family couldn't even lift a toolbox, groceries, and medical bills. James had heard of Social Security like a safety net you get when you retire at 65 or older. But at 53, he didn't think it applied to him. A friend mentioned something about disability benefits, money you can get if you're too sick or injured to work. James was skeptical. Still, with bills stacking up and the kids needing school supplies, he decided to check it out. He called the Social Security Administration, SSA, hoping for a lifeline. But the first call was a gut punch. James felt like the ground was slipping away. How would he take care of his family? This wasn't just about money. James felt like he was failing Clara, who was exhausted from picking up extra shifts. He saw the worry in Leela's eyes when she overheard them talking about bills. Night, his back throbbing, wondering if they'd lose their home. But deep down, he wasn't ready to give up. Could there be a way to get Social Security benefits early? Was there something he'd missed? Have you ever faced a sudden challenge that turned your life upside down? Drop a comment below and share what kept you going. I'd love to hear your story. James's days became a cycle of pain and frustration. He couldn't work, but sitting still made his back worse. He'd hobble to the kitchen, trying to help Clara with dishes, only to wince and sit down. The family cut back everywhere they could. No more dinners out, no cable, no new clothes for the kids. But the bills kept coming. The mortgage was 3 months behind, and a letter from the bank warned they had 90 days to catch up or face foreclosure. James felt helpless, like a captain watching his ship sink. He called the SSA again, explaining his condition. "You from any job, not just your old one." James was confused. He was a mechanic. What else could he do with a bad back? He applied anyway, filling out forms with Clara's help. They sent in medical records, doctor's notes, everything they had. Weeks later, a letter arrived, application denied. The SSA said his condition didn't meet their strict rules. James stared at the letter, his heart sinking. The denial hit James hard. He wasn't just fighting for money. He was fighting for his family's future. Clara was working double shifts, coming home so tired she barely smiled. Lila started skipping after-school clubs to babysit Marcus, sensing her parents' stress. James overheard Marcus whisper to Clara, "Are we gonna have to move?" The thought of losing their home, the place where Lila learned to ride her bike, where Marcus's height was marked on the doorframe broke James's heart. He felt like he'd let them down, like his body had betrayed not just him but everyone he loved. James tried other options. He looked into private disability insurance, but they'd never had it. A local charity helped with 1 month's mortgage, but it was a band-aid on a bigger wound. He even thought about selling his tools, the ones he'd collected over 30 years. But Clara stopped him. "Those are part of you," she said. "We'll find another way." But time was running out, and the foreclosure deadline was now 60 days away. One evening, Ray had heard about James's struggles and shared his own story. "I got disability benefits years ago," Ray said. "It's tough, but you've got to keep fighting. Get a lawyer, appeal the denial, and document everything." James hadn't thought about appealing. "It's like fishing," Ray said. "You don't give up after one cast. You keep trying till you catch something." James and Clara found a lawyer who worked on Social Security cases, someone who only got paid if they won. The lawyer explained that many people get denied at first, but win on appeal. "We'll show the SSA how your condition stops you from working," she said. James felt a flicker of hope, but it came with a catch. Appeals could take months, and the bank wasn't waiting. The lawyer needed more medical evidence, new tests, doctors' statements, proof of James's pain, but tests cost money they didn't have, and the foreclosure clock was ticking. Would James get the benefits in time to save their home, or would his family lose everything? Have you ever had to fight for something you deserved, like benefits or support? Share your story in the comments. What helped you push through? James threw himself into the appeal. He went to every doctor's appointment, even when it meant borrowing gas money from Ray. Clara helped him keep a journal of his pain, of milk. The lawyer gathered it, Alexra's, doctor's letters, even a statement from James's boss about how he couldn't do his job. "This is your story," the lawyer said. "We're telling the SSA who you are." Months passed, and James's hope wavered. The bank sent another warning, 30 days until foreclosure. Clara started packing boxes, just in case, her hands shaking as she wrapped family photos. But one afternoon, a thick envelope arrived from the SSA. James's hands trembled as he opened it. "Approved," the letter said. He qualified for Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, money based on his years of work. He'd get $1,600 a month, plus back payments for the time he'd waited. James sank into a chair, tears in his eyes. Clara hugged him, whispering, "We made it." The back payments, nearly $10,000, were enough to catch up on the mortgage. James called the bank, his voice steady for the first time in months. The monthly SSDI checks meant Clara could cut back her hours, giving her time to rest. They weren't rich, but they could pay the bills, buy school supplies, and keep the heat on. The house on the creaky porch stayed theirs, and Marcus's height marks stayed on the doorframe. James felt like he'd reclaimed his role as provider, even if it looked different now. He started teaching Marcus how to change a tire, using his knowledge instead of his strength. Lila joined a school club again, her smile returning. The family wasn't just surviving, they were living again. James's story has 2 lessons for you. First, don't give up if Social Security denies you. At first, appealing with a lawyer can make a big difference. Think of it like climbing a hill. It's hard, but the view's worth it. Visit ssa.gov or call 1-800-772-1213 to learn about appeals. Second, document your condition. Keep a journal of your symptoms and get doctor's notes. It's like building a case to show the SSA your truth. James still had pain, but the SSDI benefits lifted a weight heavier than his toolbox. He and Clara sat on the porch one evening, watching Lila and Marcus play catch in the yard. The sunset painted the sky gold, and James felt peace. He'd fought for his family and won, with Social Security as his unexpected ally. Are you planning for your future or helping someone who is? Drop your tips or questions in the comments side. Love to hear from you. If James's story gave you hope or taught you something new, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. Ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. And if you've got a story about overcoming a tough time, share it in the comments. We're all in this together.